Outside of Stemco, there is a small park that is seldom crowded. Two young lovers strolling. A young mother taking her young child to take its first brave steps, and his inevitable failures cushioned by the soft green grass. A dog owner throwing a stick for his faithful friend to go fetch, which he does so, faithfully and interminably. A young girl yelling, "Fresh flowers for sale! Fresh flowers for sale!" Which is only partly true. They're for sale, but they're not terribly fresh. Still, it's a lovely and peaceful place. Certainly not one you would expect would be transformed into a battlefield, which it does so with marked regularity every Tuesday afternoon at 3. It was a quiet war. No guns, no booming cannons, not even any marching feet. But a war nonetheless. The adversaries, 2 aged and retired military officers. One from the Army, the other the Navy. They debated about every topic under the sun, from whores, to politics, to women, to even literature. They never did seem to run out of topics to disagree about. In fact, the only thing they did agree is to meet the following Tuesday at 3 o'clock on the exact same bench. We're in luck. The day is Tuesday, and the time is 3 o'clock. This peaceful park will soon be turned into a violent battlefield. Oh, and I'm caught right in the middle. I best get off this bench. I don't want to get caught in the crossfire. I'm going to watch from a safe distance over there, by the children's slide. One approaches from the east, the other the west. If I had a drum, I'd roll it.
Cool weather we're having today.
It's warmer than yesterday.
They say it may rain.
Here comes the sun. It's coming.
So, it's your turn. Pick a subject.
I've got one.
A good one?
In my opinion.
All right. What's the subject?
Lunch.
Lunch? Your subject is lunch?
It's my turn, isn't it? I pick lunch.
Not much of a subject, in my opinion.
Does that mean you concede?
I concede nothing. I merely stated it's a poor subject. But I accept the challenge. If it's lunch, it's lunch. Start.
Are you ready?
Would I say start if I weren't ready? Start means I'm ready. Go ahead. Start.
Very well. Appetizers.
Appetizers. Right.
To start off a good lunch, the best appetizer is herring.
Wrong.
Wrong? Herring is not the best appetizer?
It's good. I didn't say it wasn't good, but not as good as caviar.
You're wrong. Caviar is much too rich for an appetizer. It's a dish that should be reserved for special occasions, with a little champagne. A snack? Yes. An appetizer? Never.
Are you telling me that fresh caviar, finely chopped eggs, raw onions garnished with parsley, and served on a lightly salted wafer-thin biscuit is not a good appetizer?
Do you want to compare it with herring in white cream sauce, marinated onions, 2 large black olives sitting on either end of the plate, sprinkled with dill, and the end piece of fresh baked brown bread to soak up the drippings of the herring, the onion, and the dill into one final succulent mouthful.
You argue well. I concede the appetizer.
Thank you. Let's move on to the soup.
Oh, I don't think we'll have any arguments here. Borscht.
Borscht. For soup, you pick borscht? Out of all the soups in God's creation, you pick an ordinary dish of borscht?
Not in a dish, in a bowl. And there's nothing ordinary about piping hot borscht, sugar beets, Ukrainian style, with ham and country sausages, and on top, a thick, white sour cream. Are you prepared to challenge a soup like that?
I would sooner have cabbage soup, steaming from the pot, with thick chunks of boiled potatoes and globs of tender meat still hanging from the bone. And sooner than cabbage soup, I would take a full-bodied vegetable soup, with carrots, fresh asparagus, cauliflower stalks, with parsnips and ripe tomatoes. And sooner than vegetable soup, I would take a fish soup, with tripe and giblets, and young kidneys floating on the top, so thick you have to push your way into the soup.
Wait a minute. I'm not talking about your ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill, served in a restaurant borscht. No, I'm talking about peasant borscht, the kind you eat with a pound of hot cornbread in your left hand, and in your right, a thick, heavy, wooden spoon.
A wooden spoon? That's different. You didn't mention a wooden spoon before. I can see the soup.
Accepted.
How do we stand?
Well, you won the appetizer, I won the soup.
Up to here. It is a very close lunch. Next course.
The next course is fish.
Fish? Oh, well, we can forget about the fish. I don't care for fish. Whatever you choose for fish is fine with me.
You don't like fish?
I'm not dead set against it. It's alright once in a great while. It's not substantial enough. It never satisfies me. To me, the most important part of a meal is the roast. Why don't you pick a fish, and then we can move on to the roast.
So, you concede the fish.
Mention a fish and I'll concede it.
Pike? A nice piece of pike.
Carp is better.
But you just conceded the fish.
I didn't know you were going to say pike. I don't find pike a tasty fish.
A piece of pike fried in brown butter with stewed tomatoes and a thick mushroom sauce isn't tasty?
It's tasty if you smother it in carp broiled in lemon juice.
But you already conceded the fish.
All right, I won't make an issue of it. Change it to carp and I'll concede it.
But carp is your fish. Then I would be conceding.
You could have chosen carp ahead of me. The option was yours.
Will you concede if I drop pike and pick another fish?
That's fair enough. What do you change it to?
Brook trout, broiled with sliced almonds.
Poached salmon and hollandaise sauce.
But I thought you didn't like fish.
Maybe it's only the ones you like that I don't like.
You're purposely doing this.
You accuse me of being false to my taste? You dishonor me.
I dishonor no one. I call for a stalemate on the fish.
So soon? Why give up? There are so few fish that I like.
Very well. Filet of sole cooked in white wine with grapes.
Sea bass cooked in black bean sauce.
Stalemate! Stalemate.
Don't get yourself so excited. We still have a roast to get through. Agreed. Stalemate.
I don't see why there has to be a stalemate when pike is so delicious. Especially after we've just had borscht.
What's past is past. The table has been cleared. We're on to the roast now. It's your turn.
I pass.
You pass on the roast?
I pass my turn. I want you to go first. I don't trust you anymore.
Makes no difference to me. For the roast, I contend there's nothing better than boiled beef, served with white, hot horseradish, pearled onions, peas, beans, white bread, and cold spring wine. I can smell it now. I can barely contain my mouth from dripping with saliva. It is, I believe, your turn. Unless you concede to boiled beef.
I do not concede to boiled beef.
Then mention, if you can, a better roast.
A nice piece of pike.
Pike is a fish! We're through with the fish course!
Not in the case of a stalemate. In the case of a stalemate, you can always go back and try again.
When was this decided?
Just now. I decided it.
Alright, well if you say pike again, then I say brook trout again. Double stalemate, next course, boiled beef, your turn!
Boiled beef. Herring, borscht, and boiled beef? Why, it's a meal for a cold, hungry foot soldier, not a commanding officer and a gentleman.
Am I being challenged or not?
I could challenge boiled beef with a small partridge. I could challenge it with a brace of quail. I could challenge boiled beef with a firm, young roast turkey.
Roast turkey? You may have something there.
I could challenge boiled beef with a hen. A fat, juicy, white meat, thick-breasted hen.
I see what you mean. A hen. Certainly, a hen is always nice.
But I'm not going to do it. No, I challenge boiled beef with a duck.
A duck? I didn't think of duck. How do I overlook duck? What kind of duck?
A duckling. Round, plump, young duckling. One that's had a taste of ice during the first frost. And then it's roasted, pan-roasted to a crisp, golden brown skin so crisp that it crackles in your mouth.
I concede to duck!
And it's roasted with the potatoes, cut small into the dripping pan.
I concede.
And the potatoes are roasted and soaked in the duck fat. And in the pan, young onions are beginning to turn a deep, rich, golden brown, while the aroma wafts up into your nostrils, driving your taste buds to a state of frenzy.
How many times do I have to concede? Are you deaf? You're purposely doing this to get back at me for not liking pike. I conceded to duck. All right. Now, let's move on to the dessert. For God's sakes.
And the duck is basking in the juice of
Enough already! What's wrong with you? You're acting like a child over a silly piece of pike.
Try it sometime with butter and oil. You won't think it's so silly.
Do you want to continue or not?
You go ahead. I'm still savoring my duck.
For the dessert, I choose...
Yes?
I choose... For dessert...
Well, out with it. If you can't think of one, I will choose.
I'm thinking. I want to end the perfect lunch perfectly. For dessert, I choose...
Cold peaches, sweet cream, and brandy.
That's mine! I choose cold peaches, sweet cream, and brandy. You can't take my dessert.
I can if it takes you an hour to think of it. The perfect meal is not only what you eat, but when it's served. If I had waited for you to think of it, I would be hungry again.
I refuse to argue with you anymore.
So, you concede the lunch?
Are you through choosing?
We've been through all the courses. I've won a clear-cut victory. Concede the fact and we can go home.
But you're definitely through choosing. As far as you're concerned, the lunch is over with.
Of course. What could follow cold peaches, sweet cream, and brandy?
A cigar. A big, black Panatella cigar. Followed by a 2-hour nap.
Oh, I forgot. A cigar and a nap.
Do you know what kind of nap you have after a good cigar? Delicious. A delicious nap. It's not a hard-working, tiring nap like the kind you have at night. A light nap is delicate. You sleep softly with warm, sweet dreams, like the kind you had when you were 30. That is how you end the perfect lunch.
How could I forget a cigar and a nap?
And I'm not even through yet. When you wake up, a mint. A white, tangy peppermint that kills the entire sour taste.
Enough already! You've won. You don't have to rub my nose in it.
And with the mint, the afternoon newspaper, a blanket on your lap, a cozy fire, and a dog at your feet to rub your toes on. And as you sit there, with your body warm to the perfect temperature, you read only good news in the paper. France is having political trouble. They're starving in Ireland. England is in a financial crisis. But here, everything is good. And just as you're about to fall off into the perfect sleep, a letter arrives in the mail that the Tsar has awarded you another medal. And then, you drop off with a smile on your face. The perfect lunch has ended. And there's nothing more to do until that evening when the perfect dinner is served. Would you like to challenge me for the perfect dinner? I'll let you go first. Hors d'oeuvres!
No, it's my turn to choose. Not yours.
Actually, I'm not feeling well. A bit chilly.
You don't look so good. A little pale. Maybe you should see a doctor.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll drop in on Dr. Wyszynski.
Wyszynski? Why, that butcher knows as much about doctoring as my 3-year-old granddaughter.
Are you trying to tell me you know a better doctor in Russia today than Wyszynski?
Do you challenge me?
I challenge you! But not today. Next week.
You're right. It seems to be a bit cloudy.
No, I think it's actually beginning to warm up. Here comes the sun.
It'll rain before you get home.
Next Tuesday then?
Next Tuesday.